talk about. It's a different modality, and it's really exciting. It's well, I would say it's been around for a long time, but you're bringing this to Hawaii, and Karinna, thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
So you're on a new adventure.
I am.
Modalities.
It's called Lemurian Shamanic Astrology and Healing, and that's what you'll see at the top of my website, KarinnaNielsen.com. And I guess when I was speaking to you and some other people before, I realized that I needed to back up a little bit and talk about what is Lemuria anyway, and why is it Lemurian Shamanic?
And how is that connected to Hawaii?
Well, actually, Hawaii is the mountaintops of ancient Lemuria. So when Lemuria went under the waters about 40,000 years ago, what remained was where the healing temples were, and that's where we see the Hawaiian Islands now. But Lemuria was gigantic. It was as big as the Pacific Ocean. It reached to Australia, Japan, China, all the way to the West Coast and to South America. It was a huge continent, and they were very, very loving beings. They were fourth, fifth, sixth dimensional evolutionary beings that were really focused on being in love and experiencing for the Creator. So it was this beautiful place, and I think you can still feel that when you come to Hawaii. And people think, oh, I'm feeling the aloha spirit,
right.
But what they're really feeling is the Lemurian energy. And that is what I've actually been immersed in my work with, over the years, with Fred Sterling and Master Gun Kiro, who I consider great authorities on the Lemurian experience. So I was doing for many years signature cell healing, and I still do it, and that is a Lemurian healing modality, and it's a 4-body healing modality that comes from Lemuria. So I learned that, and I've been practicing that for about 15 years. And what happened was I started asking my clients for their birth information, because I'd always dabbled a little bit in astrology. And they gave me their birth information, so I pulled up their charts, and I looked at the natal chart, and what I saw was really surprising, because it was giving me insights into their healing journeys. And then I started to think about it, and when we put our hand on the top of the head of the client, when we do signature cell healing, we activate the blueprint, which is in the pineal gland. But what I realized was I was on the astrology chart, I was looking at the blueprint of that person. That is what I now call the kahaki'i. And the kahaki'i is the blueprint of the person. So when I do your astrology reading, for example, we will be looking at your blueprint or your statement of intention. So that is actually your whole life's journey in this lifetime. Why are you here? What is your archetypal journey? So shamanic astrology is based on ceremony, it's based on intention, and it's based on transformation. So I'm looking at your chart, and together we're looking at your archetypes. So you have an expression of, for example, the Aries archetype, which would be the warrior on a sacred journey, right, looking for the sacred purpose, or the Sagittarius archetype, looking for on the quest for truth and meaning, kind of like the Star Wars journey of Luke Skywalker. So we have all of these archetypes in our blueprint, and we're here to play these out and to experience these. And that's what we can see in that blueprint.
Now, would this help explain why people say, I came here on a vacation and I ended up staying here forever?
Absolutely.
I mean, you hear that all the time, more so than any other state in the United States that I've heard.
Absolutely. And it's that feeling of Lemuria, it's that feeling of love, and it's the feeling of, it's more than just what we know as love in the third dimension. It's an unconditional love. It's the love of creation. It's the love that's continually evolving and searching for the next level. It's going outside and experiencing the stars above and the feeling of the energy coming out of the earth. This is the shamanic element of the Lemurians. They were always on this transformational journey, and we all are. Whether we know it or not, we're all on a journey of transformation, and we spoke before about these initiation points that we have in our life, and we can also see this in the blueprint. We can see, okay, here's the statement of your intention for your lifetime. And then as time goes on, the stars move and they influence your blueprint in different ways. So you may come to a certain point where the archetypes line up, the planets line up, the nodes of the moon line up in a way that you have an opportunity to shift or to have an initiation, to bring in a new aspect of who you are, to work on your relationships. That's another really interesting aspect of Lemurian Shamanic Astrology, is your relationships and how can you evolve the relationship with yourself and with your partner. Like, for example, if you are in a relationship and you're feeling like it's just not working, and I had a client, and she went to some psychics because she was having trouble with her relationship, her marriage, and they said, oh, they looked at, they read her energy or whatever, however they did that, and they said, you're going to get divorced, and you really should, just face up to it because you're just too different. And she came to me and she said, would you tell me that too? I mean, is that what you feel? And I said, I would never just tell you that. Let's look at what we've got here. So we took her blueprint, her natal chart, and we took her husband's, and we put them together in a relationship reading. And what we can do is line up the relationship axis on both of the charts. And what we found was they have a complementary type relationship. And we were able to see why they were together, what their karma was, and why they needed to stay together at this time. And actually, it was her choice to stay in that marriage.
So it's almost like learning lessons that she wanted to experience this lifetime.
And actually for him, she was actually helping him out, and she could be okay with that now. So in a sense, she actually said, okay, you've saved my marriage, which made me really happy. Because I really do believe that is one of the great points about the Lemurian Shamanic Astrology, is it helps us with the relationship with ourselves and with others, and to appreciate the archetypal journeys that people are on and that I'm on as well.
So you can understand maybe some career shifts that might be coming up.
Absolutely.
Or why you're doing what you're doing.
Right, and maybe even why your childhood was the way it was, the relationship with my parents was a certain way, why do I seem to have difficulty in this type of career, what would I be better suited for?
And also, what if Hawaii is not connecting for them, possibly moving to the mainland or another country?
It could be.
Show up.
However, Lemurian Shamanic Astrology is something that you can play out wherever you are in the world. And I've done readings for people in Australia and Europe and other parts of the world. It's almost like an energy that you can take into yourself and use to transform your journey. And I call it know thyself, right? The Oracle of Delphi, right? Know thyself. When you know your archetypes and you know your journey, then you can engage the process. And I told you that a couple months ago I had a pretty severe auto accident in which I was drawn out of my body, and I've written about it on my website, in my blog. Drawn out of my body for about 10 minutes. I just was out. I mean, all I saw was there's like going through the intersection, I had green, and here comes this white blur out of the left side corner of my eye, and then nothing until the police officer came to the passenger side and said, "Are you okay? Can you get out?" And I said, "Get out, yeah." And I look, and there's all the airbags, and I thought, yeah, I can get out. But I was just like, vibrating. There was so much adrenaline, and my cells were vibrating, and I didn't know really where I was. But afterwards, I realized that this was an opportunity for me to shift my journey. And of course, I went home and I lined up all my astrology and saw that yes, it was one of those transformational points. And
almost like a near-death experience that people talk about.
It was, yeah, except that I had no recollection. I have no recollection of it. And in fact, that is, I'm glad about that, because then the focus is not on the accident. The focus is on moving on into the journey. So the whole shamanic journey is about transformation, and it's about death and rebirth. And sometimes it takes that type of an experience to shift your journey that much, because we tend to get stuck in the same routines or the same thing.
Yeah.
And when you have something like that, I mean, it doesn't have to be that radical, folks.
Yeah,
You know,
don't get a car
I mean,
accident.
you're not like me. I mean, I've got a lot of Aries Sag in my chart, you know, so I'm real fiery. But I mean, there are these times, and we can appreciate them. That maybe it's about you're in your Venus return cycle. That happens every 8 years for all of us. You go out and you celebrate the conjunctions of Venus and the moon. You can go out and see it. You can do ceremony, light a candle, put on your scarf, and go out there and just really feel, what is my journey about? What's my intention for this lifetime? And I think when we live with intention in our lives, it becomes so much richer. Our relationships become so much more meaningful. That's what I'm interested in sharing with people.
So you've kind of taken all the bits and pieces of your background and your training and put this together.
Yes, and it's really interesting because I did journey for about 10 years with a goddess group called Silver Wings of Light, and we did a lot of Lemurian goddess work, and that's just about transformational time of the great shift in consciousness. The goddess light comes forth to announce the great shift in consciousness. And so I learned how to do ceremonies, I learned how to do gatherings, how to share this with people. And so I've started to do that as well. So
Great, so you're going to have some events coming up?
I have some events, and up on my website at KarinnaNielsen.com, there's, I can do specialty events, I can do healing trainings, I also do gatherings, and healings also.
Would you like to spell your website?
Right, Karinna Nielsen, KarinnaNielsen.com.
And would you like to give out your phone number as well? So
Right,
contact
it's
you?
area code 808-554-3424.
And we have a nice article coming up in the Hawaii Wellness
Yes, I'm
Directory.
so grateful for that, and it's just really beautiful.
Fun modality, and thanks for coming on, and I can't wait to schedule my astrology
Oh,
and find out all about my past.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Laurie.
Thanks for coming.